Okay, in this video we're going to continue with the process of rebuilding our curves and creating surfaces out of using Loft and Boundary. So I'm going to start kind of creating surfaces for maybe for some that are kind of more obvious than some, because there are some surfaces that I know how I want to deal with at this point, and then there are some that I'm still kind of debating how I want to create, such as the space for a door and stuff like that. But let's just do the hood right now. Okay. And now I do have a couple of separate splines here. One of these is kind of defining what this whole line is doing, but I have one that, and as you can see, it's just kind of defining what the hood's doing. So and again, they're just kind of occupying some space, but the idea was that again, this one is just kind of defining what the hood is doing and not necessarily what the whole curve of the car. So this one's the one that's going to be kind of dealing with this. So let's just go ahead and create the surface. And again, same procedure. Probably for this, I want to do a boundary. So I need to make sure that I have a spline here at the bottom that's defining what this is doing. And again, I don't have that at this point. And one of the things that happens when you create this NURB surfaces is that there is a dependency between the original NURB curve that you created and then the surface. So this is why I can still kind of move around this NURB, and it's going to affect what the surface is doing. So I can either select this and maybe just make a copy of it. And again, we just want to make sure that we're selecting the right one. Alright, so as you can see, that one is kind of dependent on the surface, but I have a second one there. And again, I just want to make sure I'm selecting the right one. That isn't, and it's very hard to reach it. And again, maybe I can let's see what I can do here. Another thing that I can do, and again, I'm assuming that this surface is kind of what I need that surface to do at this point. I could definitely just get rid of its history by going to edit and then delete by type history. And now when I select this, you know, it's not gonna have any dependency to it. And again, I just want to make sure that that's not the copied one, so it doesn't anymore. So I could definitely come back in here now and add a curve point here. Alright, and that's about where it's meeting with this. So and by doing this, I can just kind of detach the two, which it will be this and this. Alright, so now the curve that I need, and another thing that I probably want to start doing is probably placing my surfaces in a separate layer. So I don't want to be selecting them when I'm kind of working on this. So let's just call this surfaces, save them, and you know, maybe I can just kind of freeze them so I don't have to select them. And okay, so now again, this spline is kind of two separate pieces, and I can now go ahead and rebuild this these splines so I can actually create the surface that I need. So if I go to the attributes of this one, it has 10 spans. I probably want this one to do the same. This one has 16. So again, probably want to start by converting this NURB the Bezier curves to NURB so we can rebuild it. So again, I just want to make sure that that's the case with this one. And these are already NURB curves, so that's fine. I might need to rebuild this one as well. So I'm going to convert this Bezier to NURB. And this one should be a NURB curve already. Alright, so so I probably want to rebuild this one to have 6 spans, just like the bottom one right here. And then I want to rebuild this one to have 10, like the one on the other side. And I could probably still rebuild this and make sure that they are uniformal, so my topology is a little better laid out. So I could definitely, let's see, go to edit curves, go to rebuild those curves. Alright, and again I want these to have 10, and this is what it looks like right now. I can just go ahead, select that again, rebuild it, and it's definitely better laid out than what it was before. Alright, and I want to do the same with this one and apply it. Okay, so that's laid out pretty nicely. Okay, and this one I want to be 6 like the bottom one, and again I want to rebuild this one so it's a little bit more uniformal than what it is by default. So I can apply here, then I come here and apply it there. And again, it's a little weirdness going on here when I apply it on this one. Make sure my settings are right. And applied. So this may happen from time to time. We can always just gonna come in here and maybe fix this up a bit before we create the surface. So again, nothing major. So again, let's just go ahead and create our second surface. Select here, 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 and not that one, and this one, not that one. I'm going to get a little bit closer so I can select the right spline. Alright. And I want to go to boundary. Alright, so now we have a surface for our hood. It's looking pretty nice and smooth. Okay, and again, let's just go ahead and let's just kind of create the surfaces that are just kind of more obviously that you know we can just kind of deduce that that's the most easiest to deduce, I suppose. So again, these two have 6 and 6, and this can be a very simple loft. Okay, right here, same with these two. And again, I want to make sure they have the same number of spans, that the origin it's on the same direction, so it is. So I can definitely select these two and loft that. Alright. And again, some of these decisions are going to be based on, you know, what's going on here in my car, because, you know, I could very well create a loft for here, but as you can see, you know, we have this kind of detail going on here, but here at the end it's not kind of there anymore. So I could make a loft out of this, like this. And I'm probably gonna have to come back and maybe rebuild that surface a little bit. But I could very well also make it as part of whatever's going on here as one piece. So again, for now I'm just gonna build it like that, and then maybe kind of change my mind about how I want to deal with that one later. So let's just do the windshield, and again, this one has 10, this one has 4. So I probably want to stick to maybe something like 6. And again, this one needs to be changed from a Bezier to NURB. I think I'm going to have to do the same thing with this one. Alright. So I want to select these two and rebuild them into 6. And again, I'm kind of getting a really weird effect here, but I can definitely just fix this by just making a couple changes in my orthographic top viewport. So nothing too crazy. And now I want to deal with this side of the windshield. But again, this spline is basically one piece, and I'm probably gonna need it to build this whole part. So I don't want to start cutting on that one unless I absolutely need to. So I can definitely make a copy of it. Alright, so Control D, duplicate, and then select one of them, go into this one and add the necessary curve points. So one here, and I want, let's see, it's gonna be meeting right there, so I want the second curve point to be right there. And I want to go to my edit curves and detach that. Alright, so now that's been turned into 3 separate pieces. Again, one of the problems that I'm facing is that some of my curves are kind of in the way of all the curves that I want to work on at the moment. So I can definitely maybe create another layer for splines. Surface not unique. Okay. And save that. Maybe splines too. Alright, that way I can only deal with the ones that I'm just kind of creating anew. If I need to bring the other one back, I can just kind of bring it back in here, or but in this case I just need to get rid of the excess here. And again, I want to make sure that another thing that I need to make sure when I'm creating the surfaces is that my CV points are basically snapped to other curves, or for instance, you know, this point kind of needs to be snapped to the point where it's going to be meeting with this line. And again, the reason for that is because if we don't, then our boundary might not work, and it could definitely give us some results that we don't want. And again, I just had some really weird results when I kind of rebuilt this one, so I'm just kind of moving it around a bit. Okay. Now let's just see if we're in the right. And again, this one is another one that I need to kind of break right here. I really don't need this line for anything else. This one's just kind of defining what's going on in the back, so I could definitely break this one into pieces now. I don't need the entire piece for any of the surfaces that I'm going to be creating. Wait a second. Okay, I think I ended up creating more than I needed. Here and here. Okay, and I'm basically going to be detaching this, and I'm going to have 3 different ones, which I'm going to be able to create surfaces from these. So this one has 4 spans, this one has 4, this one has 6, and this bottom one has 6. Alright, I could very well maybe add a little bit more spans on this one to get a little bit of better curvature when it comes to my surfaces. So why don't we just go ahead and do that. I'm going to apply here. And apply it on this one, and again that one is a Bezier, so we need to hold in Shift, right click, convert Bezier to NURB, and then we can just select it again and apply. Okay. And again I select them in the right order, go around, and here, and I can create a boundary here. Alright, so that has my windshield. And again, I made a mistake by making a duplicate of this spline and then deleting this part. I probably could have kept that extra one to be able to create the different cuts that I needed for the rest of the surfaces. So I'm going to go back into my layers, select this one again, make another copy of it. Okay. And put this one back in here, freeze this one. Okay. And again, the reason I'm doing that is because I might need the entire piece or something like it for the way that I'm going to need to cut this part right here. So at this point I'm going to add more curve points so I can detach it. So I'm going to do that here as well. And I'm going to go to detach. And I can get rid of this piece right here. Alright. So I don't need 2 of those. So now I have this. Okay, so this one has, I believe, 6 spans. So I need this one in the back to do something similar. So again, I'm going to convert it from a Bezier to a NURB. Same with this one, same with this one, and then we're going to rebuild them. So we probably want this one to have 6 spans as well, so I'm going to apply that. This one has 4 and this one has... what's going on? Okay. Okay. And again, just make sure that you save your progress as you're working here, because as you can see, that my Maya is kind of already getting a little buggy here, so there's a possibility that it might start crashing on me pretty soon. Okay. And again, I want to make sure that all these surfaces are within this layer. And probably hide those. I don't need those in my viewport right now. So, alright, this one ended up having 7. Just make sure we're on the right one. And this one has you know, when they're converted, they might change the number of spans that they have, so another reason to have to go in there and rebuild them. So I'm going to select these two, and I'm just going to go ahead and apply this. Alright, and they both now have, this one didn't work, let's just go ahead and apply it again. So that one has 6, and this one still needs to be converted for needs to be converted to a NURB, and now apply. So now it has 6, and these two have 6 on 6, so let's just go ahead and select them in order. And boundary that. So I have a nice little surface for this the roof right there. Alright, so I definitely have some really nice kind of surfaces going on now. Again, I want to add that to this layer, maybe hide it so I don't have to deal with it at this point. So my Maya is getting a little bugged out. I'm going to stop the video, pause it for a second. I'm going to restart my Maya, and then I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm back. Apologies for that, and let's just continue building surfaces. So now let's just do one for the back windshield. And again, I want to confirm that it's that big. Actually, yes. So again, I probably want to use the boundary technique for this part as well. So I'm going to need to take all these, and I want to turn them from NURB. Hold on. Pass here to NURB, and again, I'm doing that by holding Shift, right-clicking. Alright, and now I want to reconstruct it. So this one has, right now this one has 7. I want to reconstruct it so it has 6 CVs. So I'm going to go into my edit curves and rebuild curve. Alright, so I'm going to apply that. And this one has 4, and this one has 10. Probably gonna need that much resolution here because of the curvature of it, but I still want to rebuild it again just to kind of make sure that it's more uniform than what it is right now. So select that, rebuild, and you know, now it's more uniform. We want to do the same thing with the other one. Apply, and again, we want to make sure that the origin is pretty much in the same direction for the opposite ones. So it looks like it is. Alright, so let's just go ahead and draw another surface. Alright, and we're gonna do a surface boundary for this one. Alright. And I want to add this one here too. Alright, so I'm getting really nice kind of surfaces here. Let's just do let's see, let's do an obvious one. And again, this one, you know, I might want to do as a loft starting out, but another thing to consider is that, you know, they're kind of broken into So I could do it, I could loft this like this. And again, I just want to make sure that I'm probably gonna have to maybe rebuild this so it looks a little bit better. Surface edit NURBs, alright, and then rebuild surfaces, and you know, we want to have the 6 and then maybe just 1 on the view direction, otherwise it's going to subdivide 6 across, and we don't want it to do that. So then I can apply it, and again, it's just kind of evens it out a little bit better than when it was before. You know, so I could definitely do that, or maybe take the same approach as I did here, what I actually did a separate loft for each of the separate pieces. And again, this is all kind of going to change once I start figuring out how I'm going to do some of these parts right here and in the back, because again, some of these surfaces are pretty regular. I might actually have to go in here and maybe break this up a little bit more. I'm gonna have to go in here, maybe combine some of these splines to make sure that I actually have this as one spline, so I can create a boundary on this shape. So I'm gonna stop this video now, and I'm gonna continue adding surfaces on the next video. Thank you for watching.